Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's still PDAC time. If the floor is now over, but we are now at the offices of TREASURY Metals, and we want to talk with Chris Stewart, who's the CEO of the company, to give us an update and a status what the company is doing now.
Yeah, thank
Chris,
you, Jochen.
Thanks for taking the time. Always good. It's now afternoon. It's getting dark. It starts to snow already again.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! It's like at
Typical
home in,
Canada.
Yeah, like typical Switzerland here, huh? So. It's quite a bit of time we were talking about your company. Maybe you give us a short rundown about the last, let's say, 9 months, what you have achieved. I think you had some very good agreements with the First Nation companies also, and then we dive into your little project.
Yeah, no, certainly. So, since we last spoke, as you mentioned, we have had a lot of progress with our company. We're just still a small company, but a lot going on here at TREASURY Metals. So our Goliath Gold Project, located just outside Dryden, as you know. Last year, we managed to progress the permitting process. We responded to the original IRs that we got back in 2015. So we submitted that in early September, and the government came back early October with essentially, I call it a 70% passing grade. So essentially 70% of the IRs we responded to, and there was 860 of them we had to respond to.
Wow.
So a significant number. 30% of that still require a bit of work, so we're doing that work right now. And our plan is to resubmit the EIS document back to SIA, which is the governing body, late March, early April kind of thing. So that'll be back in their hands again. So we're pleased with the sort of first run through and the response that we got from SIA. And our target is still to come out of the permitting process at the end of 2018. And worst case, we're saying probably early 2019, sort of end of Q1 2019 would be kind of the worst case scenario we're thinking of right now. So,
But you have a good relationship with those guys, right?
Yep, no, we do. We actually have a meeting tomorrow at the tail end of SIA just to go over some of the responses to ensure that we're essentially giving them what they're looking for, right? We don't want to waste their time or ours. So no, that's been a very positive process along the way. We're engaging with the local communities. We've had a number of community meetings in the area, as well as with the First Nations and the Métis. And we're pleased last year, we've really been working hard to build those relationships and get people sort of more involved in the project. And that culminated with the signing of our first MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Métis Nation of Ontario in December, which is really good from our perspective. We're glad to see that, they're starting to get behind the project. They understand what we're doing and that we're going to be responsible operators and look after the environment as we build this project. So we're also talking with the First Nations as well. We've got 7 different First Nations that we're speaking to, Wabigoon being the closest and most impacted by our project. And again, the relationship has really progressed very well. We're pleased with the response we've had from the community. We've gone in, we've done community meetings, we've met with elders, and again, they're really starting to understand what we're trying to do, and that we are in fact trying to build this project properly and be responsible. So
Yeah, and of course you are I would say, great economic factor for them, finally, right?
no, certainly if you look at the area, there's a pulp and paper mill in town, but it's getting smaller, not bigger. They've lost about 1,000 jobs in the area over the last 8 years. So certainly when you look at, the Goliath Gold Project, when we're up and running, it's going to be about a 240 person project. So on the payroll, you're looking at $30 million in wages roughly, and another $60 million in supplies and materials on an annual basis. So we're going to be pumping in $100 million into the economy. So
that's a lot, I would say, for
huge.
such a small town then, yeah?
No, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Great.
for Ontario in general, right?
Absolutely. So, definitely, yeah. Texas, jobs, the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Aside the First Nations, which is super important, no question, what is the status now in your, let's say, development phase? You're now pre-feasibility?
Yeah, so we moved,
right?
as you know, we updated the PEA early in 2017, and we've now moved on to the pre-feasibility stage. So that's going to be finished mid this year, so late June, early July, we'll be coming out with the results of that. In conjunction with that, we're also still finishing up our infill drill program, which we started last year. So we have 2 drills turning on site right now. And we should finish up the infill drilling early April, and then we're going to be issuing an updated 43-101 resource for Goliath, and that is what will get used in the pre-feas that we'll have done mid-year. And then we'll very quickly move into the feasibility stage, probably in August, and our plan is to have that done by the end of Q1 2019. So that lines up nicely with the coming out of the federal EA process with our permits there. And then we have a number of provincial permits, but you're looking at sort of a 3 to 4 month time frame to get those completed. So we're still looking at, shovel ready, start to build in, the fall of 2019, which then puts our first gold production at the tail end of 2020.
Yeah, and as you are digging a big hole in the ground, I would say, can you maybe describe it a little bit? Because you have some beautiful animations which we will cut in then into
Yeah.
the video. Maybe you can give us a little bit run through what it will look like then.
Yeah, no, certainly the one thing that we've had some feedback. We actually have a 3D printed model of the property as well, with showing the open pit and some of the underground, which is a very effective tool when we're meeting with communities and the different, the First Nation groups and Métis, that people can actually sort of see and understand what it's going to look like. But now we've gone even one step further, and we actually have some animations that we put together that basically will show, what the property looks like today, what it looks like when it's in full production with the open pit and the mill, the tailings facility and the waste rock dump, all these sort of things. And I think what that really does is the old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. When people see that, I think if they really start to understand that, what we've done our very best to ensure it's a very compact site, again, to minimize the impact we have to the local environment, and very, very tight footprint on it. But we're also, making sure that when we're doing all this and when we bring it back to the end, when it's back to the reclamation phase, that it will in fact, go back to looking like it was prior to us arriving, other than the open pits will essentially become a lake. So it's
lovely.
So the renderings that we've put
And
together.
actually, a lake you can swim in maybe.
You could if you wanted to, yeah.
Maybe a bit cold, but
I'll put a camp on it there when we're done. Have my own man-made lake. But certainly, we're really happy with the pictures, and again, we think it really helps communicate what we're trying to do with Goliath, which is make it environmentally friendly. We're putting in place what we consider probably the best in class effluent treatment plant system with reverse osmosis. We're going to make sure that any water that we do discharge to the environment is essentially at drinking quality levels.
Super.
So there's not many mines that I'm aware of out there that actually have gone to that degree to ensure that the water quality is going to be to that clean.
So full responsibility for the environment, not only for the people, for the whole thing.
Full thing.
Great, fantastic, Chris. Thank you very much. That's a great update, honestly.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, we look really forward then when you move in the feasibility stage, because this is the real final thing before we can start with the shovel ready.
One thing I should mention before we leave, though, Jochen, is I touched on the 2 drills on site, so we're finishing up the infill drilling. And the other thing we're going to be doing in late April is moving those drills to actually start testing along strike outside of Goliath. So that could be very exciting for us second part of this year, and we should have pretty regular news flow coming with drill results over the next
perfect.
course of
So
the
it's
next
like
9
step
to
out
12
drilling then, or
months.
what is that?
Exactly. So it's what I call more pure exploration drilling. So a new area, see if we can develop some more ounces outside of Goliath and show the potential that we believe we have with the whole Goliath property. So
maybe additional discovery.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed
for it. Great, fantastic. Then all the best for that, for the drill, of course, and we want to see some really good news from you.
I'm looking forward to it myself.
Well, your responsibility. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Jochen.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it was Chris Stewart, the CEO of TREASURY Metals, and you heard it, they're full on track, really running the thing here through. And what is really important, the First Nations, it's all in good standing, and even as you heard, they have a good meeting tomorrow then. And also, the company is full on track, pre-feasibility, then the feasibility comes, shovel ready by, hopefully then end, or let's say it's Q3, Q4 in 2019, and hopefully 2020 then fully in production. Approximately $100 million will be deployed to the state of Ontario, and of course also to the town of Dryden, because this is the volume which they will gonna move then in the future per year. And this is really something which is important for the economy of the town, for the economy of the state, and highly appreciated, I would say. And check out the company. Thanks for watching us. Bye bye from Toronto.